Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. In this video I'm going to be bringing in Adronis, as Adronis is going to be talking about a very big subject, which is 2018, the year of renewal, the year of the storm. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We will share insight as it relates to your 2018 year that has been termed as the year of renewal, or again, otherwise termed as the year of the storm. Now, basically, to what you understand as the storm, it represents that of karmic culmination. And that is basically what is going to be happening much more intensely between 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. This would be, shall we say, the temporal mass of the storm between 2018 to 2021. So, throughout this year of 2017, the year of connection, you have felt that coming together, that bringing alliances together, that being these collective custodians, these collective guardians, meshing yourselves together. Through this connection, you are now seeing that upon the horizon awaits a very large storm. So between those years of 2019, 2020, there will be a brief period that will allow you to see the eye of this storm. But the aspect of 2018 is that this storm is now moving past the horizon, and it is now just about to come over your heads. Well, what does this storm entail? So as we've stated, this is the beginning of karmic culmination. Everything is being revealed. We mean everything. But again, it will be through very, very intense periods, through intense transitions. There is nothing about this storm in that sense that is going to really be quote-unquote lighthearted. Everything needs to spill out into the open. So it would really be no more different than seeing this storm ahead and seeing all of this pouring rain, this torrential downpour, seeing these lightning storms, seeing these incredible gale force winds, or perhaps even in a state of somewhat hurricane intensity. That all of this information needs to be brought out completely into the open for the public to see. Now again, much in regards to your mainstream media, will attempt to cover this up, sugarcoat it in certain particular ways, attempting to create roadblocks, barriers, preventing you from seeing the full truth. And as we've stated, that the only truth that you will ever feel is that which you feel radiates within your own heart. But what you are discovering collectively upon your planet, for those who can truly listen, for those who can truly see, you will basically see your entire empire that has been ruling this planet through its own agendas for thousands of years become completely dismantled in every single way you can look at it. Sociologically, politically, financially, through much of the classified documents, classified material, classified agendas that have taken place, it's all coming out into the open. Pandora's box has already opened, and once it's opened, you cannot close it. The idea is that some of you may ask, for you that are the, shall we say, American population, is it true that Donald Trump will basically still be president around the 2018 year? Most likely, yes. Now again, many of you, we understand, really have these ill feelings towards this particular individual, and that is for you to choose. But the whole idea in that sense is that he represents a part of this storm. Therefore, as he is part of this storm, there are certain tasks that he still needs to be carried out. So regardless of anyone's personal feelings toward him, he is a part of this catalyst that is bringing about all of this information, that is bringing about, leading this particular, shall we say, battalion of change. Now basically, yes, he has his own particular agendas that are coming out in the open as well too. And again, many do not feel very comfortable, to put it lightly, being around this particular person. We understand that. But again, he represents the collective consciousness of everything that's happening right now that needs to come out. Basically, in the way that we can put it, he's here to make you angry. He's here to make you fear yourself, to feel fear as it relates to the situation, because this is all part and parcel of the vibrations that are coming out right now. There is going to be a lot of people angry. There's going to be a lot of people upset, a lot of people aggressive, a lot of people sad, a lot of people in despair, because they cannot believe. They cannot believe what has been hiding under their noses all of this time. Do you think the idea of what you would call your quote-unquote pedogate is really the worst thing that has happened? Not even close. There's going to be more. You're going to see more as it relates to the waging of wars that have taken place across your Middle East. You're going to receive more documentations, again, about many of your political leaders and much of the, shall we say, horrendous agendas that they have created behind the scenes. You're going to see exactly how many of these particular forms of political leaders and other what you would refer to as celebrities upon your planet have actually done some pretty intense, shall we say, acts of belligerence, acts of cruelty, acts of inhumane aspects, shall we say. We're not attempting to spoil it here for you. You are going to have a lot of dropped jaws as it relates to what is going to be revealed. So around the time of 2018, as you start to move into this year, as this storm is now approaching, you will see again more of this sociological, political, financial, personal, all faculties, all levels of your life, all of these particular compartments revealed. And so this is going to continue to happen throughout 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. These are again the core years that will represent the span of change to where this storm is approaching, coming directly over you, and then starting to leave. Around 2022, 2023, 2024, those will be the years where there will be again great culminations of change taking place after this storm has passed. But you are now just about to enter this storm, and this storm is going to be very, very intense. There will be further mass arrests taking place. There will again be what you would consider to be the popular people upon your planet, throughout your media, throughout your commercialism in that way, that are being exposed. And many more in that sense will be quite shocked about who these people will be. More of your political leaders in that sense will have, shall we say, dealings with other forms of authorities, and there will be internal arrests taking place. Again, there will be dismantling of certain forms of projects, different forms of, again, political systems that are going to be restructured. Basically, again, as we've talked about from the previous year, that there is rooting out. You are basically going into the cesspool that you would understand as an old garden that has not been taken care of properly. And you're all reaching into the soil and you're pulling out these very dirty, nasty roots. And all of these roots are being pulled out. They're being pulled out right into the heart, right into the core. This is also going to lead to further financial change as there will be more situations unfolding as it relates to your banking financial institutions. There will be much more of a rise as it represents to decentralized currencies that are now starting to move more up the ladder. And so the aspect of the old financial systems are going to continue to plummet. Again, this is all part of a transitional stage, and there has been so much attempt in being able to try to hold on to these particular centralized currency systems. But because so many people upon your planet, so much of the collective has formed such a very large disregard for this aspect of centralized currency, it is now plummeting. So you must see it as a scale or a graph that is eventually plummeting more and more and more. So again, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, to where you see this current state of your centralized banks and now starting to plummet a lot more. Well, Adronis, what about the aspect of currency that would relate to the idea of prosperity funding? Is this coming together? There are current talks, current negotiations, country by country, that are attempting to introduce this concept. We would say eventually this is indeed going to happen. We do not have an exact date about when it was taking place because, again, there are still many different fail-safes. There are still different clamps that are basically kinking the hose for the possibility of many of these financial systems to come together that will provide prosperity funding. But we would say around the time of your span of change, to around the end of its culmination of that cycle, there will be a great deal more as it relates to the aspect of prosperity funding. But the whole idea really is that, as we have talked about before, your value comes from yourself. The universe will provide any particular point of value that you therefore clarify is valid to yourself. You do not require the aspect of prosperity funding. It sounds quite good, and it's something that's putting yourselves into a new direction. But for those of you who truly value yourselves, who understand the value of the expressions you put forward, you will always receive the reciprocation of that value in some particular form. Be it money, be it gifts, be it anything else that relates to that state of exchange. Again, moving forward into 2018, some may say, well, Adronis, what about extraterrestrial disclosure? Is this something that's going to come about? As we've talked about, this is not something that's going to happen right away. There will be more declassified documents, specifically coming from your European Space Agency, that will reveal more certain forms of sightings, but again, not putting a 100% stamp on this and saying that this is indeed extraterrestrial intelligence, this is indeed other beings from other worlds, and they have most definitely, most certainly come here. It will still be documents that will still be somewhat sanitized, and they will again be putting it out. So much of your European Space Agency will have these particular forms of documents. There also will be certain forms of disclosures through your CIA and your FBI compartments. There will also be, again, certain NASA disclosures, again, but not really representing anything conclusive that you could represent to that of extraterrestrial disclosure. So disclosure, again, is very much in a drip-by-drip process. Small drops coming from the faucet, bits at a time. And we know many of you do not want to hear that. Many of you just want to say, just bring the ET presence out here. We understand. Many of you feel ready to move into that particular alignment. And so move into that particular alignment through yourselves. Don't feel you require a collective presence to giving you the permission to do this. You have to understand that even though many of you feel you are ready, when you actually are able to hear about what has actually been happening with what your planetary agencies have been doing to other particular forms of spacecraft, again, it will shock you. There again is the idea that the extraterrestrial presence in that sense and beings who have been captured by your government have no form of human rights. And so there were a great deal of cruelties being brought forward through many particular beings, all for the nature of wanting to understand their technology, to understanding how their technology can be reversed, understanding more about their biology, everything that would represent in that sense a tactical military advantage. And so more of this will be outlined in the upcoming years. But again, it's still a drip-by-drip faucet process as it relates to the extraterrestrial presence. Well, Adronis, what about energy systems? What about artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, or as we would refer to as synthetic consciousness, is truly going to be on the rise throughout your planet. 2018, 2019, 2020, you will actually start to see other companies that will now start to bring themselves together and starting to create artificial intelligence systems or synthetic consciousness systems, not just through the idea of having them appear as human beings, but basically having interfaces that can also be holographic in certain ways, that can also in that sense seem much more mechanical or machine-like, basically in that sense just interfaces that you would know like a computer. This will also represent different degrees of artificial reality or virtual reality systems that are also allowing interfaces of synthetic consciousness, artificial intelligence coming together. Artificial intelligence, synthetic consciousness is all created by man. It is the idea that the system, the aspect of the artificial intelligence, can never outgrow what man has together as a collective, because it can only know what man has gone through. It can only know what man itself has experienced. It is not capable of being able to evolve past that collective, because it can only take what it knows. It is an emulator. It is a manipulator in that way, but it is not a creator. That will always be the premise as it relates to synthetic consciousness. Synthetic consciousness is something that is brewed together by man, but will only be able to manipulate, only be able to understand what has taken place throughout the collective knowledge. It is incapable of creating. As you move more forward into 2018, there again will be much more increases as it relates to protests, as it relates to riots. Now, again, this will happen in areas of your United Kingdom. This will happen in areas of your United States. This will also happen in other areas of Western Europe, from your Italy, from your Spain, from your Portugal, again, through other particular territories. There will be much more, shall we say, shaking up as it relates to your European Union. There will be, again, more of the dismantling as it relates to the European Union as well, too. Very much to what you would understand as your Brexit. This is going to continue to escalate throughout 2018 to, again, creating more separation from that particular body. As, again, there's going to be further states of exposure as it relates to the European Union. Again, as we have stated, everything pertaining to your centralized currencies is completely at risk right now. They are basically attempting to implode so that a new financial system can come together. This new financial system, again, will be based upon reserve currencies, as we have talked about before, and that it is more so moving into the Eastern powers. And so, the Eastern world, as you term it, will have much more of the say relating to the idea of the culmination to old centralized aspects and resources, and being able to build up a brand new form of decentralized currency. And again, many of these particular forms of countries within your East are switching to cryptocurrencies, are going to start working with blockchain, and will start to move forward more so into digital currencies. There can also be the idea of physicalized legal tender that can take place, but again, it will be backed. Some can be backed by precious ores, some can be backed by resources in that particular way. You will also notice that there will be much more smaller aspects of currency as you understand it, that is more so based upon time and commitment and contributionism. That again is still attempting to be on the rise, but will not really reach a high level of popularity just yet. But within the years to come, absolutely. There will be more demonstrations about how alternative energy systems are coming upon your planet through your solar, your wind, your tidal energy, basically working together with large capacity batteries that are actually working together in creating new infrastructure for other countries that have had, shall we say, a great lack of electrical systems created to therefore rise. There will again be more opportunities of new inventions coming together technologically that will work to basically reduce the aspect of heavy pollution upon your planet, releasing the aspect of fossil fuels. So again, this is still in the works, but again, still something that is going to take quite a few years to continue to propagate throughout your collective mass. Right now, many people are still very much up in the air, quite upset about everything that is taking place. Their worlds are changing, and that is all part and parcel of the process. You are no longer going to be under the display of these old empires. These old empires are falling. They are plummeting in that way. Many of these old particular leaders, these Kabbalists as you call them, are very much in hiding right now, very much afraid for their own lives, because they realize that they can never, ever regain their empires to the stature that it once was. It is the idea that the pillars have already crumbled away. The idea of the foundation has been completely dismantled by, again, other Earth alliances. and that these particular beings are in hiding. And they are just doing whatever they can, no more different than when you turn on a light and seeing these cockroaches going and hiding under certain objects, attempting to avoid detection. But again, there's only so many places that they can be. That's all part of their own karmic repercussions that is now coming back. And so, as we've stated, this is all part of karmic culmination. This is what many of you are going through right now as well too, is being able to see things that have been, shall we say, somewhat absent for several years that are now coming back into the fold. So again, this can do with personal transformations, relationship transformations, financial transformations, career transformations, educational transformations, etc. All of these are now coming together full force. Why is this happening? Because, as we've said, you're moving into fourth density. And as you're moving into fourth density, all of this truth needs to get out into the open first. Once all of this truth is now being brought out into the open, you're realizing exactly what type of stage you are surrounding yourself with. Now you can work with this energy. Now you can work with this truth. And you can understand exactly where you feel you fit as it relates to all this information coming together. 2018 is going to be a much more intense year than your 2017 will be. In fact, we could say 2018, 19, 20, and 21 are going to be some of the most intense years you've ever seen, each one being more intense than the next. Now again, we know some people may grumble about this and say, oh, come on, Adronis, aren't things going to get better? They are going to get better, but as we've stated, a lot needs to be brought out onto the table first. You have all of this information, all of this data, all of this truth completely beneath your feet. Through all of your intentions to create change and ripping the roots out, this has to come to the surface. It's all based upon a collective blueprint. And you must all witness that collective blueprint for yourselves, to allow yourselves to grow, to evolve, and to learn by looking at everything that you know does not serve you. That is how you purify your connection to light. So this is going to continue to happen as you move forward into 2018, the year of renewal. And the reason why we're referring to it as the year of renewal is because once all of this is now getting out into the open, you are able to renew yourselves. You are able to look at this storm as a means of pulling all of this out, becoming aware of it, and now entering into a state of renewal, to which 2018 represents becoming a new person, becoming a whole new, renewed being of consciousness. Therefore, moving on into 2019, the year of revival. So we want to thank all of you for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius. We will now conclude and return to the conduit. We'll speak to you again, as now is forever, all is one, and love is the essence. Goodbye. Okay. A lot of information coming out through there. So much coming out at once, really. So hope all that makes sense to everybody. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of comments and questions as it relates to this video. Again, we're just kind of looking at almost like a film trailer of possibility for the 2018 year. A lot more stuff can happen as well too, but this is just giving us a bit of a premise and understanding about what is going to be taking place in this upcoming 2018 year. So it's going to be very shaky. So as I've always said, work upon yourself, develop the nature of your own truth, follow your heart, make sure that you are bringing yourself into this alignment of your own great truth and just shine that light, right? That just means going into personal retreat and exploring yourself and moving past those aspects of the world, then do that, right? Do whatever you feel you can to bring the greatest aspects of love together with yourself, moving past the physical body, moving past the physical being, and coming together into this great understanding that you are everyone and that you are everything. So of course we're going to be exploring those topics, certainly more through the end of 2017 and of course moving into 2018. But again, thank you to Adronis and thank you to all of you for tuning into this broadcast today. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye. Thank you everybody for tuning in to New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Please feel free to visit our website, newearthteachings.com. Private sessions, digital courses, blog, free media, and a lot more. Again, newearthteachings.com. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Take care.